Hello and welcome to Stitches and Slapdashery, Slowvember, Day 7. Oh, that was a volunteer card. It popped out all by itself. Make mincemeat ready for mince pies at Christmas. Ah, yes, I made sure to include this one in my November activities because it takes 4 to 6 weeks of sitting in the fridge to be ready. So we will do that today. But first, I'm just going to insert a little bit of footage about what I did at 9 o'clock this morning, bright and early. The walnut tree's lost almost all its leaves now, and I'm getting very wet because it's raining. Well, I'm at my local fruit stand, my favourite fruit stand. Their newsletter said yesterday they were giving away free apples, in that you have to pick them yourself, but that's okay. I'm quite happy to pick them myself if I can just fill a bag and take them home. So I'm just heading over to where she said they are. Whoop, lumpy ground. It's raining. It's a bit of a mixed bag today. There's a bit of blue sky up there, and there was absolutely lovely shine of, or patch of sun on the lake as I was driving here, and sunbeams coming through the clouds. It was lovely. Look at all these pumpkins they still have. I don't know what they do with them if they don't sell. Somebody's dog is having a fit, I'm not sure why. Okay. Lots of windfalls. And I spot a ladder, so if I want some good ones from a high up part of the tree, I'm allowed to climb a ladder. I think we'll start with that idea before picking over the ones on the ground. So many windfalls. I didn't actually see any left on the trees, so I'm just going for windfalls that aren't too badly damaged. But yeah, what a great way to spend a half hour on a fall morning. I think I caught my beanie on a couple of trees, so I'm hoping there's no loops of yarn sticking out of the top. Anyway, that was a very enjoyable little time. Getting all those windfalls, the ones that were not too badly damaged. So now I'm going to go back home and get sorted on whatever Slowvember activity it is today. What a change in the weather. Less than an hour later and the sun is out, the sky is blue. All of those grey clouds and rain have gone, at least for now. Amazing. I think I've got everything ready for my mincemeat. This is a recipe that's written in my handwritten recipe book, and I've been using it for so long I have no idea where it came from. But I'll make sure to put it in the description under the video. Last weekend I went to the bulk food store and I picked up a whole bunch of dried fruit. I've got currants. I like to have a mixture. I suppose you could just make it with one kind of dried fruit if you wanted to keep it simple. Dark Thompson raisins, golden raisins, it's nice to have a mix, I think. And I have dried cranberries. You can never buy dried cranberries without sugar. I think they should make unsweetened ones as well. I'm sure they'd be sour, but you know, it's nice to have the choice, right? Okay, those are cranberries too. So if I don't have enough dried fruit in here, I do have my bag of Costco sultana raisins as well. So it calls for 3 cups of currants. Let me see if I have enough for that. I think I might do. But as I say, I've got extra things here. My recipe says currants, cranberries or golden raisins, and Thompson raisins. So I think as long as I have 6 cups of fruit, I'll be happy with that. So I'm going to start with, 2 cups of the currants. And sorry about that. A cup of the Thompson raisins. Woo! And I'm dropping them everywhere. So this is going to be, as usual, very slapdash and very inaccurate. I'm going to put in a cup of the, and again I hit the bowl, a cup of the golden raisins. I just like the variation in the colour as well as the flavour. And a cup of cranberries. Now how many was that? Was anyone counting? Are you counting? So 2 of the currants and 1 of each of the others. That's 5 cups. 5 cups of stuff, and I'm going to use the sultana raisins from Costco for my last one. So that I make sure to have lots of the other random ones for when I want to make fruit cake. They're all sticking together, of course. There. So 6 cups of dried fruit. This is one of my absolute favourite parts of this time of the year. I know I could make mincemeat or fruitcake any time of the year, but it wouldn't be as special then, would it? So 6 cups of dried fruit. I need a pound of chopped apples. Support your local growers, guys. Local fruit and veg is so wonderful to eat. You can see where it came from. It didn't have to travel far to get to you. This isn't a cooked mincemeat. What you do is you just mix everything up and you stick it in the fridge overnight in a bowl. So you won't see me finish this today. I'll do my best to remember to show you what I'm doing with it tomorrow. And yeah, it just sits in the fridge for 4 to 6 weeks leading up to Christmas. Apples are in. 2.5 cups of sugar. Now, I know there's a lot of sugar in this, but you have to bear in mind that it's acting as a preservative. So while I have adapted a lot of recipes, I've never been tempted to cut the sugar on this one. Next, we need our spices. So where's my spoon measure gone? Here it is. So we need allspice, teaspoon of allspice, teaspoon of nutmeg. These are what I would call the Christmas spices, and again, I absolutely love them. Teaspoon of cinnamon. Zest and juice of 2 lemons. Now, these aren't organic lemons, and I don't usually use the zest, but it does add a lovely flavour, and maybe we're going to, considering this is once in a blue moon, we're going to wash these lemons and put the zest in, and to heck with the consequences. This is so sharp. I'm always worried I'm going to take my skin off with this. So now I need to put the juice of the 2 lemons in. Smelling good. I need 3/4 of a cup of fruit juice, and normally I would just use a commercial apple juice, but it seemed dumb to get commercial apple juice when I have so many apples in the kitchen right now. So I'm going to pause this while I go and use my Vitamix just to blitz up some apples with a bit of water. This is just 2 apples blitzed up with a bit of water in the Vitamix. Not quite the same as apple juice, but I think it'll do the job. In fact, it's apple juice with fibre. And I have a little bit left in the jug, so I'm just going to throw that in. And there's a chunk at the bottom of the jug. I'll eat that. Okay, let's give it a stir. All I need to do now is cover this over and put it in the fridge overnight. And then tomorrow I pack it into sterilised jars. And it will live in the fridge until it's Christmas baking time. Okay, we have enjoyed some apple picking and we've enjoyed some mincemeat making. And seeing as my thoughts are jumping ahead to the Christmas season right now, I thought I would make another scroll, or at least start another scroll today, using Christmas fabrics. I pulled an empty thread spool out of my drawer where I have been saving them for something for quite some time. This is a Coats spool. It's a good size. It's a couple of inches. So I wanted to just show you how I made the spools, because I don't think I've explained that in previous or shown that in previous videos. So what I do is I measure between the ends. So I get 1 3/4 inches in this case. And so I cut a piece of batting that's 1 3/4 inches that will wrap around at least once. This one's going around more than twice. Maybe that's a bit too much. Oh no, I don't think so. So I want it to pad out that center part so that when I glue the felt over it, it's not going to be caving in. If it behaves itself. And I just stick the strip on there and wrap it around. I think it's only necessary to stick at the beginning and the end. I don't think you really need to do it more often than that. So that's ready. And then I cut a piece of felt that will go over the ends of the thread spool. So it's slightly wider than the batting. So this I cut 2 1/4 inches in this case, and it's about 6 inches long. So I'm going to add some glue here, just where the batting ended. And I'll start wrapping. So I'm going to glue it. Oh yes, I forgot to put some glue on the actual spool. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so then I like to glue this a little bit more generously than I did the batting, because it's the outside layer. There it is. So then what you do is you have to have a riffle through your button drawer or whatever you have. You could even cut a piece of felt, I suppose, to go over that. There's all sorts of things you can cover the ends of the spool with. But I found these buttons in my button stash, and I'm just looking at them, and one is yellower than the other ones. And I think I'm going to just check the drawer again and see if I can find something that's better. It's hard to tell. We'll go with that. So what's nice about these ones is they have a shank on the back. And when I auditioned them on the end of my thread spool, they fit perfectly. They sit nicely, and the shank goes right into the hole in the middle of the spool. Perfect. So now I just need to throw a ton of glue in there. I'm not sure exactly at which point they're going to touch. Let me just see where I need to glue. Okay. I think that'll do it. Isn't that a fancy Christmassy spool or scroll holder? Okay, I can put that aside now. And the next thing will be to get the scraps sorted for the scroll itself. Now you want your piece of batting to be about the same as that. I've cut this at 2 inches, I think. Yeah, 2 inches, which is slightly smaller than the red felt because I'd quite like to have some of the red felt showing when I wrap it around. And because this just happened to be a scrap of batting that was about 21.5 inches long, that's what I've gone with. The last two I made were 24 long, but it certainly doesn't have to be a specific length, as long as when you wrap it around, it's going to look pretty. For someone who doesn't do a lot of Christmas crafting, I have quite a lot of Christmas fabric. I don't want to cut into any fat quarters. The whole point of this is really to maximize your scraps. See, this is a lovely fabric, and I've obviously cut a little bit out of here, but I would consider using that for the back because it's a larger piece, but I don't really want to use it for the front. have gnomes, and I have snowflakes, and I have a little bird, some Christmas trees, granny squares, and a candy cane. A random assortment of Christmassy themed things, maybe, but what's nice is when you've done all the stitching, it all seems to come together quite nicely. So later on, not right now, but later on, I'm going to put some basting threads in that in a light colour so that I can be sure to take them out afterwards. And I'm considering using my Cotton Pearl 8 for this because I do have a couple of reds and green. That one is sort of on the border of yellow and green, isn't it? Not sure about that one. Before I fully decide to use these, I'll have a rummage through my embroidery threads as well. I'm not sure I want to mix the two in one project, so maybe I'll look in my embroidery threads before I dive in with that. So that's everything for today. We did quite a lot, didn't we? We went off out for a little field trip and did a little bit of food prep and did some stitching. So I hope you're enjoying these videos every day. Do leave a comment and let me know if you're joining in with any of the ideas. Do come back tomorrow for more on the Christmassy themed slow stitching. Not a fall craft, I know, but it's good to plan for these things in November, isn't it? And whatever else I pull out of the box. See you then.